Hello and welcome everyone to AABN's 184th weekly webinar. I am deeply honored to present myself before you as a humble representative of AABN. It is great to see you all online on a Sunday morning. Through these webinars, AABN just did not keep our entrepreneur community engaged, but also enabled to meet a range of inspiring people who can help shape your thoughts and ideas. At AABN, our webinars are tailor-made to help you overcome the common pain points experienced by business owners, managers. AABN has been engaging you with the objective of helping you hit the refresh button on emerging trends on a range of topics. The AABN, as you all know, is an umbrella front of entrepreneurs from across the globe. We have an awesome speaker with fresh perspectives on performance optimization for sustainable success. Let us extend a very warm welcome to our distinguished guest speaker, Ms. Pragnya Venigalla, founder, Perform at Best, to this interactive session. Individuals face persistent stress and demands in their personal and professional lives and remain at a constant risk of burnout due to academic work pressures and high competition. Burnout affects the mental health and performance of young adults. Mindfulness and resilience have been recognized as protective factors against burnout and helps to cope with the stress associated with it. Feelings of mental and emotional exhaustion may come on suddenly or gradually and can be a precursor to the more serious condition of burnout. These conditions may be especially true during periods of excessive workload or heightened personal stress, too common during the current crisis. When your plate is too full, it can reduce the pressure you find in your team or raise a conflict. The intertwined concepts of stress, performance, and wellness will be dwelled in detail, and Ms. Pragnya will offer her insights and strategies for providing support to individuals and organizations for effective performance optimization. Our eminent guest speaker, Ms. Pragnya Venigalla, will share her perspectives and help the attendees prepare for the days ahead. I have the pleasant duty of introducing and welcoming our eminent guest speaker, Ms. Pragnya, to this interactive session today. Pragnya, Performance Optimization Specialist, is a certified NLP practitioner and ICF Associate Certified Coach, consultant and trainer, holding bachelor's degree in engineering and master's degree in business management, and is also a distinguished Toastmaster and member of Professional Speakers Association of India. Her keen interest in psychology, processes, and progress directed her from being an IT professional with a decade of experience to exploring the world of peak performance and processes. Having trained, coached, and mentored over 1,000 people and spoken at various corporates, forums, and summits, she has received numerous accolades for her confidence, communication, and ease of breaking down difficult subjects. She has spoken on international forums, won various awards in speaking contests, and has been selected among Super 500 in the Super Speaker Season 3, a hunt for India's best motivational speakers conducted by Success Gyan. She has also authored a book, Ace at Work, helping people navigate nuances of career growth and fulfillment. She has trained people at various levels in an organization on topics such as communication, collaborative teamwork, leadership, project management, productivity, and performance. She has also authored a book, Ace at Work, helping people navigate nuances of career growth and fulfillment. Pragnya's style, her knowledge of the topic, and her ability to engage the audience will ensure that attendees today walk away with several key takeaways. It will ensure that your attendance at the webinar today was more than worthwhile. I'm not going to make you wait longer. We'll let Pragnya take over and regale you with her astute experiences and fresh ideas. Thank you. Over to you, Pragnya.
Thank you so much, Gopi sir, for that wonderful introduction. I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And it is so exciting to see over almost 50 people on a Sunday morning who are open and ready to learn. Isn't that awesome? What an amazing community you all have. Brilliant, brilliant. All right. So before I start, I just want to make sure, is everybody able to hear me and see me clearly?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Oh, okay, wonderful. All right. So let me start off with one question. Okay, so by the way, a few rules for this session, yeah? So whether your cameras are on or not, I want you all to actively engage on the chat box at least. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, you can raise the reactions icon on the Zoom, right? Yes, is that okay, everybody? And this has to be an interactive session. I'm not going to talk for an hour and then let you guys run away with something just listening. No, this is going to be a hands-on experience where you guys are going to participate. Is that fair? Okay, I see some yeses in the chat box. So wonderful. I see people are using it. Brilliant. Okay, now let me start off with one question for all of you. What does success mean to you? What does success mean to you? Okay, Rajesh says happiness. All right, any other answers? Shalab says optimizing happiness. Tawfiq says achievement. Shubha says customer satisfaction. Nagamaya, I think, yeah. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing any names. But yes, says when we achieve our planned destiny. Fulfillment, satisfaction, achievement, success is growth, happiness with peace. Great. Amazing answers and perspectives on success. Brilliant. Now, can I share what success means for me? Now, for me, it was always about winning over shortfalls. Okay, you know, the rags to riches stories. Now, let me explain. Now, how many of you know this person? Does anybody know him? Have you seen him, heard him? No? Yes? Sundar Pichai. No, that's not Sundar Pichai. I know, yes. I assume he's not a very famous person, but yes. His name is Hitesh Ramchandani. Okay. He was born a breech baby. Now, what is a breech baby? A baby whose legs come first, not head, right? How does a typical baby come into the world? Head first, right? So he came legs first. Now, during his delivery, now the doctors were trying to get him out, but his head was stuck, right? For almost 6 minutes, I think he was without oxygen. So the oxygen supply actually stopped and his brain wasn't actually functioning. So the doctors actually said, he's going to end up with cerebral palsy. He will not survive. He's going to die and things like that. Okay. So he actually came into this world. Of course, he had the disease of cerebral palsy. That means his limbs and words don't function as normal people, right? But you should meet this person. He is amazing. He is so full of energy, so full of wisdom. And he even jokes about his situation. He says, doctors said I wouldn't survive more than 30 days, right? After 30 years, all those doctors have died, but he is still alive, right? So that's the kind of spirit he is, right? So today, he is a global motivational speaker, okay? And he is super inspiring. He is a Paralympic footballer and he's an author also. He runs a community and spreads the message of, you know, having an awareness of life in general to millions of people in the brand name Better Than Normal. He's amazing. His, entire, whatever he does, you should watch out some videos of him. Okay, now, how many of you know her? Do have any of you seen her? Yes, no? No? Yeah. I assume she's also not a very famous person, but again, somebody who is very determined. Now, this is Sunita Krishnan. Her speech in TED was the first speech that I had listened to, which changed my perspective of how people actually live. Okay. Now, she was gang raped by 8 men when she was 15 years old. And she faced insurmountable challenges in her life. But that didn't stop her. Today, she is a social activist rescuing and rehabilitating thousands of trafficked victims. She even received the Padma Shri Award for her work. Now, the kind of work she does is honestly scary, but it is so profound that we need to see what kind of impact she actually has. This is another person I would recommend you check out. Okay, now let's look at a more international figure. How many of you know who this is? Anyone? No? Okay, cool. So this is Lisa Nichols. Okay. She found herself literally on the roads with no money and a child as a single mother. Okay, she had no money to take care of her child, and shares this story that I had no money to buy diapers for my kid. All right, and she had hit rock bottom in her life. Nothing was going right in her personal life, and she had almost given up. But then, just for the sake of the child, she turned her life around. And today, she is celebrated transformational speaker who motivates masses to overcome difficulties and pursue their dreams. Okay, she has turned around her not just her professional life, even her personal life. Now, here's a question for all of you. What is common with all these stories? What is common? Determination, hope, absolutely. They all faced some struggles, exactly. They all had some struggle, they had some challenges, and they overcame it and became powerful voices impacting the world. Yes, absolutely. I love the answers that are coming around. People have turned around, right? The struggles and winning over it. Absolutely. So, this, like I said, was my definition of success. Right. So, I started to believe that you need to have some story, you need to have some struggle in your life to actually become successful. Right. And overcoming that, yes, never giving up attitudes, resilience. This is what even I take away from all these stories. And that's why I resonated with them so much. Okay. Now, here's one more person for you to guess. Do you know who this is? You may not know her, but you have seen her. Exactly. That's me. Right? A happy go lucky girl, blessed with a beautiful family, wonderful childhood, and everything nice. I can't complain. Now, although I did everything I did with a lot of passion, I never felt like there was anything more I could do since I didn't have this, struggle story. I didn't have anything that I need to overcome in resilience. Like, what resilience? I have a beautiful life, right? And then I didn't have this success story. Then here's a question. Why am I here then talking about success and sustainable success with all of you? Yeah? Well, let me share a little bit about my story now. Now, I'm a very normal little girl. Like I said, I grew up in India. I studied engineering because, well, we're either doctors or engineers in India, most of us. Yes, so I studied engineering. I joined the first job I got off campus. And then I was determined to study more. So I went abroad and did my master's in business management and did all of that. I came back, I started working, I loved my job, and it was just routine. Everything was just going the way life is supposed to go, isn't it? I traveled, I had friends, it was amazing. Now, for me, my turnaround point came when I became a mother. Now, this little boy who came into our world, now this has been 5.5 years ago now, but when he came into my world, things started shifting in terms of how I started looking at things. Now, until then, I loved my work, and work was literally my life. Okay. And you could call that I was workaholic. Then, when my son came in, I was like, I'm going to be the super mom. I had this imaginary cape on my back, right? Where I would say, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to take care of my family. I'm going to work. I'm not going to quit my job because I had a kid. That was not a thought that I resonated with. So I was like, no, I'm going to continue working. And I did. And I was like, I'm going to do everything. Everything is going to be great and all of that. But you know what happened? Anyone can guess what happened? No, I did not struggle. I did not hit rock bottom. None of that happened. It's not a struggle story, like I said. What happened? Did I win? Did I do everything? Yes, I did do everything. But I also did one more thing. I started burning out. Sooner or later, before even realizing, I was not able to do things that I would at my level. Now, if I had a certain expectation of myself, I would start letting myself down. Okay, my things would falter. I would start making mistakes at work. Now, these are not big things, right? None of this is world changing. The world is not going to end if I stop working or if I stop doing something. But for me, that was my world. Okay, through all of my experiences, one thing that strongly stuck to me is workaholism is not sustainable. It is fine. You want to work, you work. You want to rest, you rest. Do whatever it is that calls out to you. But you will not survive too long with that energy level at that pace without burning out. Make sense, everybody? Okay, so I have one question for you. Very important question. Okay. Now I want all of you to be ready to answer. Now, oh, please don't call me ma'am. It's okay. You can call me Pragnya. All right. So let me ask you this one very important question. How many hours do you have in a day? Come on, everyone. Okay. Nagmaya says 24. Gopi says 8 hours. You have 8 hours a day. Okay. Lakshmi says 12 hours a day. I just said hours a day. I'm not saying how many hours you work. Yeah. Yep. Workaholism is not sustainable. Absolutely. You have 24 hours a day. Yes. Lakshmi, somebody whose name is Galaxy 8 star. Shalab Chandra says 16. Okay. So I'm assuming you guys are entering the number of hours you work. Yes. Or the number of hours you're awake also. Is that right? Because everybody has 24 hours in a day. Nobody has 26. Nobody has 30. Nobody has 50. Agreed? Everyone has 24 hours in a day. Now, out of this, how much of this do we spend in our work? That's probably what the answers a lot of you have given here. A lot of you are saying 16. I'm curious. Why 16? What is the answer for 16? 888. Okay, yeah, that's brilliant. 24 minus 8, 16. Okay, 8 hours of sleep. So yes, 16 is the number you're saying you're awake. Now, how much of this do you work? How much of these hours are you spending at work? Some of you may be retired, some of you may be entrepreneurs, you may be students. So if you're students, well, studying in college, everything is, yeah, 10 hours work every day. Okay, that's good actually. 3 hours work, I love that. Okay, cool. You know what? We spend a lot of time at work. Okay, more than 1/3 of our time at work. Agreed? Yep. And yet, you know what? Research has shown that the top regret of people on their deathbed is, I wish I hadn't worked so much. And yet, we spend more than 1/3 of our lives at work. Now, the bottom line or the point I'm trying to make here is this. Clearly, something is off about the way we work. Now, when we spend so much of our lives at work, can we actually make it work? Can we make life happen for us and not burn out, not, fall prey of all the wrong things associated with work? Working in home is also work. Absolutely, I agree. Anybody who says you go to office 8 hours and you work 8 hours, I'm sorry, you work more than that when you come back home also. This is the question we will explore, the rest of this session. Can we make work work? Okay. Now, in my story, in my experience, what I realized is, now I was working full time when I had a baby, and I was thinking, okay, maybe that's why I'm burning out. I was like, you know what, if I become an entrepreneur, or if I'm working for myself or things like that, or if I have more free time, then I will not burn out. Right. So I blamed it on my work. My job was very stressful. It was a very toxic environment. So I thought, okay, yeah, that is why I was burning out. Then I ended up quitting my job. It was very difficult for me, workaholic like me, to say, okay, I'm quitting my job, but I did. And when I did, I had time. I was free to do whatever I want. So then what I started doing, I started studying, I started building my own business. And then basically what happened is I swapped a 9 to 5 to a 12 to 12 kind of a job. Right? Because entrepreneurs, any of you in the house here know that it's not a fixed time schedule. You're working all the time, literally. Isn't it? Yeah. So then I realized, what? All this burnout story, it's not about the industry. It's not about what you do. It's not about what role you are in. You could be an executive, you could be a foreman, you could be a CEO, whatever it is. It's not related. It's not like somebody who is a student will not have burnout. Somebody who is a CEO will not burn out. Somebody who is a mother will not burn out. Absolutely not. Okay. It's not about the pay also. I used to think, okay, maybe if I got paid more, then maybe I will burn out less. No, none of that. It's actually a relationship issue. Now, what do I mean by relationship? A relationship we have with our work. Okay. It's how we approach our work is what is causing us burnout in the first place. Now, we are talking about burnout, right? Okay, so let's explore this a little bit. Now, if you love your work, also you will burn out if you do too much of it. Okay, we will explore that. Now, let's look at what burnout essentially is. Okay, now burnout, by the way, I'll ask you this. Why am I telling you this? What is burnout according to you people? What do you think is burnout? Now I'm saying I was burnt out. I'm saying everybody can burn out. Yeah, but what is burnout? Exhaustion, yes. Anil, that's right. Too much distress, yes, Lakshmi. Potential, okay. Stress, mental stress at peak is burnout, absolutely. Decrease in efficiency, tired. Brilliant. Okay, so all these are right answers. Okay, but the technical definition, FOMO is a brilliant example of burnout. Okay, so burnout is basically a psychological syndrome, okay, that arises from prolonged exposure to stressors in the workplace or outside. Okay, it is associated with multiple health issues, including cardiovascular diseases, mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety. Okay, and it has significant consequences for an individual as well as an organization. Now, whether if you are somebody who runs an organization, you have people who work for you, or if you work for somebody else, it doesn't matter. It will still have significant consequences. Okay, first off, it has health impacts, right? It is associated with, like I said, cardiovascular diseases, musculoskeletal disorders, all back pains in your bodies. It can all come because of burnout. All right, and mental health conditions, like I said, depression, anxiety, as an individual level. But how does this affect an organization? It causes increased absenteeism. Now, the more burnout you are, the more sick leaves you tend to take, the more you don't show up at your work with your full energy and presence, right? It affects the organization because the people in your organization have lower productivity. There is higher turnover rate. There is reduced job satisfaction. Okay, all of this affects the overall performance of the organization itself, even the profitability, isn't it? Why are we running businesses? Why is somebody starting a business? Of course, you may have your philanthropic interests at the back end, but at the end of the day, somewhere it is about profitability, right? If you're running a loss, you're not going to be running a company, correct? But burnout affects the productivity and the profitability of the organization. Karthikeyan has a very nice point here. More burnout makes more attrition and unproductivity. Absolutely. Right? The more people feel, okay, I'm going to burning out in this job, they'll just switch jobs. Right? I've done that too. I have switched so many jobs thinking, okay, this job is bad, maybe another job will be better. But it's like I said, it's not about where you are, what you do, it's about you and your relationship with your work. Okay. Now, there are some things that broadly classify burnout, okay, or characterize burnout. There are these three dimensions: emotional exhaustion, depersonalization or cynicism, okay, and reduced personal accomplishment. Okay, what do we mean by this? Let's have a look. Now, emotional exhaustion is basically the core dimension of burnout. Okay, this is characterized by feelings of overextend, like being overextended, like you're being used too much. Okay, depleted emotions and physical resources. You're just tired, you're exhausted. And that's what basically means. It's not just physical exhaustion, even mental exhaustion, emotional exhaustion. Okay, it causes fatigue. Okay, extreme tiredness. It's characterized by overwhelm. What is overwhelm? Like too much is happening. Everything is on my head. Yeah, that's overwhelm. Or stress, chronic stress. Okay, because you're just not able to cope with the kind of pressure that's there in your work. Now, how does this affect us? Like I said, your health issues, your headaches, stomach aches, sleep disturbances, right? And general sense of, like unease in your life. And of course, anxiety, depression is like, underlying thing in all of this. Though we don't recognize it very openly, it is there in very subtle instances in all of us. Now, the second point, depersonalization, also known as cynicism. This involves negative, excessively detached response, okay, to various aspects of the job. This could be detachment at the job. It could be disengagement in your work. You just don't feel like doing it. It's like, okay, it's just a chore, correct? Now, this is where you're, even from your work or your colleagues, you're not really connected. You just feel like, okay, fine, it's just there. It's something I have to do to live. I have to pay my bills. I have to go to work. That's the kind of engagement levels we end up having. Then cynicism is also about being very negative about everything, about the organization, about other individuals. You just complaining, constantly looking at things that are going wrong. All right. Or the other side of this could also be something like indifference, like a lack of empathy or concern. right? You're just like, okay, well, it's his problem. He's going to deal with it, right? Then next, why this happens or how this affects us just is that our interpersonal relations get affected, right? It leads to toxic environments at work, at home. Like if you're just irritated and negative, people around you are not going to be very happy. Then it of course affects your job satisfaction. Somebody mentioned this in the chat earlier as well, right? It reduces your job satisfaction like hugely. And then your professionalism decreases, right? You, even if you had great standards at work, like how it had happened to me, you just bring it down. You're like, okay, whatever. Okay, so that is what indifference means here. Now, the third point is reduced personal accomplishment. Now, this is the worst kind of characteristic of burnout, if you ask me. Now, this is basically a decline in, it is basically the decline in the feeling of competence, or, you don't see yourself as successful. What happens here is you think you're ineffective. You think you're not doing good enough. You think you have not achieved anything. There is a lack of achievement. There is a huge self-doubt that starts coming in. Negative thoughts about yourself, not about the work, right? This affects our self-esteem. It affects our performance. It affects how we grow or show up in our career, right? Inferiority complex, exactly, right? And all these three are actually related to each other. Right? Now, these three are not something that I came up with. This is actually called Maslach burnout inventory. Okay, this was actually, the research was done in the 1800s, and even back then, people knew why, what burnout actually it looks like. Right? So we are sitting with years of wisdom in terms of knowing what burnout actually is. All right. Now, so we know what burnout is. Now, the next question would be is why do we even have burnout in the first place? Okay. So in the definition I shared earlier, I did mention to you that it is about prolonged exposure to stress, correct? But what actually causes this stress? Let's look at a few factors, right? Number one is the workload. Has this happened to you, or have you seen somebody else be like, I work 2 people's jobs or 3 or 4 people's jobs is what I do? Yes, excessive workload because you just have too much work to do, or you're working way too long. The ideal life, 8, 8, 8, are actually living that. Are we sleeping 8 hours a day? Are we working 8 hours a day? But if you ask, globally, the average of how many hours do you work has in a week has been more than 40, 50, 60. Some people claim to work even 80 hours a week. Yes, depending on the nature of the jobs. So that causes burnout, definitely. Now, the second point is control. What is control? It is our sense of control. When we can control things that are happening, when we have a say in the outcomes that are happening or in the results that are getting produced, all right, then it is actually a good thing. But if we don't have that, if you cannot control the outcome of something, it causes a lot of stress and it leads to burnout. Okay. Am I going too fast, too slow? If somebody has any questions, please pop them in the chat box. Okay. I'm reading them while we are here. All right, the next point is, of course, rewards. If you don't feel like you're rewarded, okay, if you don't feel like you are appreciated, you are going to feel burnt out. All right, okay, thank you for your comments here. Okay, right, has this happened? If you, even for little kids, if you tell them they're doing a good job, they will actually do better next time, isn't it? But in our culture, okay, it's not, we're not blaming, pinpointing or anything, but in our culture itself, being appreciative of others is not something that comes naturally, right? Being rewarded is a great motivation. Absolutely. It's not about giving prizes, giving bonuses, but even small things like you value the other person who exists in front of you or who is working for you or who you work for, values you, then that will actually align with you being healthier and it will not cause burnout. But if you are in a place where you're not getting recognized, you're not getting valued enough, you are way too underpaid and overworked, then you're going to feel burnt out for sure. All right. Then, of course, the aspect of community plays a very important role. Now, we are all basically evolved monkeys, right? So we are all a social animal. We need people around us. We need that community. If we lived alone in the world with nobody else, we will go crazy. Okay. So we need to have good relationships, be it work relationships, be it in the home, friends, family, whatever it is, the kind of support that you can get from them. All of this help decrease the sense of isolation and the decrease stress. If that doesn't exist for everybody, then that is also another reason why burnout happens. Okay, fairness. Now, this is a perception. Okay, now what is fairness? Something that looks fair. Fair is, okay, everybody gets, for example, let's say 10 rupees as a bonus. Okay, I know it's very little. I'm just taking a random example. Okay, everybody gets 10 rupees. Is that fair? Well, maybe not, right? It's too little, first of all. And then you're like, but I did more work than the other person. Doesn't that mean I should get more? Right? So when these kind of thoughts start coming in, when these kind of discrepancies start coming in, then it actually causes a lot of mental stress for us. Okay, that we feel the organization is not treating us fairly. Okay, it is a feeling. That's why it's a perception. Okay, then finally we have values. Now, when you are feeling like, we all have values, right? Can someone tell me what are some values that you have? So Sharunan said, high feeling that doing something different and recognized and valued. Yeah, it's a great high feeling. Yeah. Values, authenticity, discipline, trust, honesty, sincerity. Very good. These are very strong values. Correct. But if you are working in a place where this value of yours is not having a space, for example, if you value, let's say, if you value honesty, but around you in your workplace, you are seeing people who are being dishonest. You're seeing people who are, they're taking advantage of other people. They're not being fair. Would your value align with that? No, it wouldn't, right? And that would actually cause a lot of a turmoil inside you saying, oh my God, but this is not how things should be, isn't it? But do we really think about this when we join a job or when we start a company? Do company owners, yes, they do have, okay, company has values, correct? But is it drilled down to the end employee who is working in the company? Or as an individual, do you resonate with the values that an organization has? If you do, great. That is part of what dream jobs are. But if you don't, that is what causes a burnout. Okay. So Sharon said not at all. So I'm just curious, for which point did you say not at all? I just want to know what happened. Okay. All right. So now we know what causes burnout. We know what is burnout, but how do we know that we are burnt out? Now, let's say we are in a bottle. Okay. If you're sitting inside a bottle, or can you read the label that is on top of the bottle? Yeah, no value alignment. Okay, Sarana. All right. Anybody? When you're inside the bottle, can you read the label on the bottle? No. Right? That is why it takes somebody else to come and tell you, hey, I think you're burning out. Because we don't recognize the signs ourselves. We cannot read that label ourselves sometimes. That is why it becomes very important for us to reflect on ourselves. Okay. Now, what do we mean by reflect? Reflect in terms of your best performance versus now, right? Age being one factor only, right? Your energy levels or your enthusiasm, or, the three things that we spoke about, the emotional, the three aspects of burnout, right? Those things don't change with age. Okay. So I know I've heard this so many times. People say, oh, but I had more energy earlier. Now I don't have energy. Well, you will have energy if you love what you do, if your values are aligned, if you're excited about, if you're feeling seen and recognized for your efforts, no matter what age, even people at 80, 90, 100 would be living super successful and happy lives without any signs of burnout. Right? So you can compare yourself versus your best performances versus now and observe those three factors that we saw. Okay. Look for your physical signs, your emotional signs, your behavioral signs. Okay. What is changing? Is anything aligning towards burnout? And that's how you start recognizing it in your own behavior. Okay. So the emotional exhaustion, depersonalization, reduced personal accomplishment are the three main categories that we can focus on. Everyone with me? Yeah, so we know all of this now. So where are we going in this session? We're talking about performance optimization and success. What does this have to do with it? Well, I'll tell you how you can avoid burnout, or how you can steer away from going down the road of burnout, is by answering this one question. What does success mean to you? This is what I started the session with. Correct? Yes, happiness. Now, when we said this, what does success mean to you? Now, there are two words that we need to focus on in this question. Number one is success. Now, what is this success? What does it look like? Right? Happiness is a very abstract term. Satisfaction is a very abstract term. Peace of mind is a very abstract term. Goals is not abstract, right? You have a specific goal, you know, okay, that is my success. So if you say, for example, if you're on social media and you say, okay, I want to hit 10,000 subscribers on my, say, Instagram channel, then that is success for me, right? That's great. Now that there is some quantity to it. Now, happiness or these kind of feelings cannot be quantified. Is that true? Aspirational is capability gap. That's a huge thing. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to talk about. When we talk about success, there are three things that we need to be clear about. What is the success? Okay, then why is this success important to you? All right, and three, how will you know you have been successful? Right? If we can answer these three questions in terms of what success is, then we will be able to move towards it. Most of us don't have clear goals, right? Most of us don't have clear action items when we set out to do something. That is why, you know, January 1st, most of them, 80% of people will get up and say, I'm going to change this year. I'm going to have this resolution. I'm going to do this, do that. We'll say, I'm going to start reading from today. We'll pick up a book and then we'll stop reading it after a while, right? Almost 85% of people forget their resolutions or goals within 1 or 2 weeks of setting them. Only 3 or 4% of people actually stick with it beyond 6 months. So if we think, oh, I'm good, I can set my goal and I am fine, that's where we are lying to ourselves. Okay, that is why this definition of success becomes very important for us. Are you with me? Definition of success could be different for occupation, social, spiritual aspect. Absolutely. And the more clearer you are in different aspects of it, it will make sense. And it will become more personal as well. Now, that brings us to the second point that is highlighted in this question, to you. Why am I highlighting this word you? Because what success is for me may not be what success is for you or for other person or for Gopi or for Shubha or for Tawfiq or anybody, right? Everybody's definition of success is different. Everybody's level of success is different. Now, if I'm starting off a business, can I compare myself with Google and say, oh my God, I'm failing? Now, I will be successful only if I become as big as Google. Now, that is an okay aspiration to have. But my question here is that your aspiration, or is that an aspiration the society has given you or people have given you? Now, let me take a more personal example. Now, you need to study, you need to get a job, you need to get married, you need to have one kid, you need to have two kids. And that is what people say, you know, my child is settled, for example. What does settled mean? That he's successful. What is the definition of successful? Oh, he's married, he bought a house, he bought a car, he has two kids, the kids are going to a school. Great. Now his life is successful. Right? I'm not saying it's wrong to say you want to get married or you want to have one kid or two kids, but do you want to have it because you want to have it or because the entire society is telling you that you should have two kids, for example? Yes. So the definition of success needs to be personal to you. Now, for me, for example, if I say I'm a new business or I'm a new startup, and if I reach out to 10 people this week, that defines success for me. Now, the thief of success is comparison. The thief of happiness or the thief of peace of mind, or the purpose in life, all of these wonderful things that all of you have said about success is comparison. That's why you need to focus on you, not on what the other person is doing. If two people are on the same journey, okay, I scored 98, are you going to be happy that you scored 98, or are you going to go and compare with your best friend who said, oh, he got 99, and then you'll become unhappy? Are you with me? Okay. So the next thing that we need to focus on, now that we know this, is we are comparing, we are doing this, we know all of this. Okay, great. Now we know how to define success for ourselves, but how do we move forward? Okay, we move forward by unsubscribing to mental models that don't help us. What do I mean by this? The first mental model, of course, is hard work is key. How many of you have heard this or have said this? Hard work is very important. Yes? Anyone? Yeah? You've heard this a million times. I've heard it. Smart work also. Yes, that's what I'm coming to. All right, hard work is important. Now, how does hard work show up in our lives? We will do something again and again, and we will work hard in terms of we'll work extra hours in the work if we need to, but we will finish what we are starting. We will take on 10 things, 100 things, because that's what, oh, I'm hardworking, right? This was the biggest lie I told myself when I started my business. Oh, I need to work hard. That means I need to hustle. I need to go meet 100 people in a week. I need to do this. I need to do that. Everything. No, you will burn out. Right? If you try to do everything at once, you are going to burn out. We all have 24 hours a day. We all have limited energy. We all have limited resources. We need to know how to work with them. Okay? So we can't just say hard work is important. Hard work is different from smart work. I love it that some people already shared this in the chat. Yes? Smart work is about knowing where to put your most effort. Okay? Next. So the next mental model that we need to break is this is the way it is always done. Have you heard this? Have you said this? Oh, my parents did this. That's why I have to do this. Or in companies, we have situations where we go, oh, this is the process and this is how it is followed since we started the company. My friends, change is the only thing that is constant. Okay, so if we are saying this is the way it is always done, or this is how things are, right? It's not going to sustain. It may work for now, but it will lead you down the path of burnout. Okay? Next. The third one is it's me. This is a big one. Most of us fall flat in reaching our success stories because we start doubting ourselves. Because we think, oh, why is this happening to me? Things happen, right? Does life go according to plans? Yes, we plan 100 things. This is what should happen. This is great, blah, blah, blah. But is that how it's going to be? No. Life is going to throw curveballs at you. But then people sit thinking, oh, why me? They start blaming, they start complaining, they start venting out to people. But they start acting like victims. Right? Now, high performers or people who actually understand the difference don't see themselves as victims. They take charge of their time, their energy, their resources, and make intentional decisions to align with their goals and values. Right? Now, one example I want to share with you in terms of, where this comes in place. Now, I used to work in a company, in a telecom company that obviously produces bills for people, right? You had your SIM cards or your dongles, right? So we would have bills being generated. I'm not going to name the company for obvious reasons. All right. So now in this company, the bills used to come, physical bills used to come. We used to work with corporates, right? So every corporate would have like 1,000 SIM cards, for example. Then we would have 1,000 bills that we need to give to that corporate. Now with corporates, what happens is you can't say, okay, your entire bulk bill is this, because everybody individual's usage is different. Everybody individual bill is different, correct? So then we have to consolidate all the bills and give it to the company. What used to happen is one person used to sit, okay, one boy used to sit when somebody used to sit on the laptop, and then they used to sit and see the bill number and enter it in the Excel and, check. right? Imagine doing this for 1,000 bills. Okay, this bill is there. Great. Check, 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 check. And you have to check if there is some bill missing in this pile of 1,000 papers. Okay. And this was the situation, and I joined this company. Then when I opened my drawer, okay, I found this. Oh, sorry. When I opened my drawer, I found this some wire thingy, and I was like, what is this? You know what that was? It was a barcode scanner. Now, can anyone think how you can apply a barcode scanner to this bill situation? Every bill has a barcode. Yeah. Somebody could have just scanned the barcodes on every paper. It will automatically come in Excel. You do one simple search or one simple Excel function, and it will tell you which bill is missing. But people always said, this is the way it is done. Right? Needless to say, that company shut down now. Okay? They don't exist. They got taken over by somebody else. But that's what I'm trying to say, is that's how we approach work. We don't see things that are in front of us. We don't use the resources that are available to us, and we just subscribe to old thinking saying, this is how things are. And this is me. I don't know Excel was a big excuse that I heard. Somebody said, but I don't know how to use Excel, so I do it manually. How hard is it to learn Excel? It's one function. Just ask somebody, how do I do it, and learn. But no, people would not understand. Got it? But this is how people work. So these are people, this could be you, this could be people around you, this could be people who are working for you in your companies. So we need to change people's mindsets, question their limiting beliefs, right? And the answer to doing that in the most structured format possible is performance optimization. Okay. Now, what is performance optimization? So I'm just going to read some of the comments. Running a business is important, but changing the way we do business is equally important. Absolutely. Very well said. Right? No age bar for learning. Absolutely. I love that. When you have the mindset to learn, when you have the mindset to, okay, let's see how things can be different. That's what performance optimization is all about. Okay. Do little and maximum output. Okay. That's the definition of performance optimization, everybody. Is that what you think it is? Learning is a continuous process. Absolutely. Less is more, achieve results by balanced results. Yes. Brilliant. Making a system as efficient as possible. Absolutely. All of these are correct. Right? But performance optimization is not a tool. It's not a technique. It's not a thing that you have to do. It's not a process that you run in the company. It is a mindset. Okay? It is a mindset that helps you drive sustainable change. Absolutely. I love those words that are coming. Right? It's a mindset that helps you be as efficient as possible. It is a mindset that helps you achieve more by doing, I'm not saying doing less. I'm saying doing the right things. Okay? Now, that is where the entire mindset of performance optimization comes into play. What is performance optimization? How do we go about it? Now, let's explore some of that. Okay? Does that sound exciting? Now, do we understand why performance optimization is important and how it can help us? Yes. Okay, cool. All right. So the first step to performance optimization is awareness. Awareness of what? What is awareness? It's a nice word, a very fancy word. Awareness is awareness of your surroundings. Focus, okay, of self. Yeah, self is a part. Knowing, of the awareness of the process, okay, of the goals of consciousness is another dimension to performance optimization. Yes, it's definitely true. Right. Awareness is about being brutally honest. What do I mean by brutally honest? You know what? When we tend to tell something about, okay, this is working, this is not working, we tend to have biases in our mind. Okay. Now, if I do this, this is correct. But if somebody else does it, oh, that's not good enough kind of thinking. Okay? Now, why we need to be brutally honest? Now, if I tell you, how successful are you in your life? Okay. Or in performance appraisals, for example, you say, okay, how did you do this year? What do? Do you actually give the correct exact number? Or do you stretch it a bit and say, you'll go out of the way and you in your head, you're like, I have done amazing work. But let's be honest. Is that work that you did actually affecting or having an impact on the end result? Okay, we lie to ourselves a lot. Yes, cognizant biases. Yes, absolutely. We have many biases. There are over 100 biases that we all have. Okay, but being honest is about answering, okay, how good am I at a particular skill? Okay, now say, let's talk about Excel, the example I gave you. How good are you at Excel? Now you can say, oh, I'm very good at Excel, I'm an 8. Or you can say, oh, I'm really bad at it, I'm a 2. Okay, but whatever it is, be honest with yourself. This is not you proving to anybody else, where you are or what you do. It is about understanding yourself. Okay, somebody said this very right. Awareness is about yourself. It's about understanding your strengths, your weaknesses, understanding what matters to you, what are your values, what are the things that drive you, what success means to you, not to the other person, not to your neighbor, not to your family also. Okay, so you understand what you are working with, what is the kind of time you have, what is the kind of energy you have. Now you can say, I'm going to do everything like me, when I was trying to be a super mom, but what is the reality? You need to be honest with yourself. Okay, and awareness comes with a lot of introspection. It comes with a lot of self discovery. This can happen through various ways. Okay, spirituality is one direction of it. Consciousness, being aware of consciousness development, is on the lines of spirituality. But for everybody else who is not on that level, if you're just starting off on awareness levels, ask yourself questions on if something made you angry. For example, what triggered me? Why did I get angry? Or if something excited you, what about this excited me? You need to have that level of self-awareness. Okay, this is called self-reflection. Right? A simple tool to help you do this is journaling. Okay, in performance optimization space, you don't need to go too deep into it, but you can just start by doing a brain dump. Take a book, open an empty paper, and just dump everything that is on your mind. Ask yourself a question. What does success mean to me? Let's start with that question that we started this entire session with. Write it. Write a page full without judgments, without any other external influences. Just write about success for you. Okay, answer those 3 questions. What kind of success do you want? Why does that matter to you? And how do you know you're going to be successful? How will you feel? Like, okay, you're saying happiness, but what makes you happy? Right? How will you know that you are happy? So this kind of brainstorming you do on paper. Now our brains are brilliant at cooking up stories. Okay, we remember little facts and figures and then we fill in the rest. So if we ask you what happened 10 days ago, you will not be able to tell us exactly morning till night what you did. Correct? You'll only remember big pictures and then you'll fill in the rest of the details. But when you start journaling or doing a brain dump, you'll start filling in more details of what is actually making you fill these gaps. So this type of awareness is huge when it comes to performance optimization, because what works for me will not work for you or for the person sitting next to you, right? That's why we need to have a brain dump. So if there's one thing that you do for your awareness, please do brain dumps every day, if possible every day, otherwise once a month, once a week, periodically just sit, dump everything that's on your brain. Okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. Keep doing this. Keep dumping them out. Okay. Now, if anybody here has read the book Getting Things Done, now they talk about a concept called open loop. When there is something that we are thinking about and it hasn't closed, right, it will keep, turning around in our mind. And our mind, when we're trying to focus on one thing, will keep telling us, oh, that thing, you still have to do that, you still have to do that. Right? For example, if your wife told you to take out the garbage, you have to do some work and you're like, oh, I didn't take out the garbage, I didn't take out the garbage. It will be running on the back of your mind. You're not going to fully focus here. All right? So these are called open loops. And the problem with our brain, it's not a problem, but that's just how it works, is also something called a Zeigarnik effect. What this means is you're going to have whatever has not closed, you'll tend to remember that more. So once you've done something, it'll actually get out of your brain. You'll actually forget it, that you have done something. Okay? But you don't, on a daily basis, you don't remember what has happened. So that is why this brain dump out everything you have to do. I have to message my mother. I have to, take Zeigarnik effect. Spelling Zeigarnik, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Okay, Zeigarnik effect. Right? So because of that, we can't focus. We can't be in the moment. We can't be aware of ourselves, of what is happening around us, or anything. Okay? So that's why this brain dumps or writing a list of to-dos is very crucial for us. Now, when I say write a list of to-dos, I'm not saying do all of them. Right? Don't do everything on your list. You will burn out if you try to do that. Okay, that is where we will try to prioritize what needs to be done. We'll question why something needs to get done. Remember the first three questions: what, why, how. When we talk about success, is it related to that? Then we will do it. Organizations have trouble drilling down their objectives or their goals into more doable tasks. For the biggest success, all you need to do is break them down. Okay. Now, when we also talk about awareness, another aspect is about determining your self-worth. Know your walkaway numbers. Like, for example, this is what I'm okay with. This is what I'm not okay with. Right? That kind of awareness you need to have. Well, whether you're a working professional, you need to know, okay, my time is valued so much. This is what I value my time at. And if that is not meeting, if the job or the task is not meeting your value, start saying no. But you won't know what to say no to if you're not even aware of your own self-worth, if you're not aware of your own numbers. Okay? Most of us tend to live in a world where we seek validation from others. And I promise you, if you just sit with yourself quietly for a moment, okay, just take a minute every day, just sit with yourself quietly and observe what are the thoughts that are coming. Most of them, if not all, would be more negative than positive. Yeah? I urge you to try this after this call today. Just sit for a moment and think about, okay, what all is happening in your mind? Like hundreds of things are happening. Yes, we have literally have 60,000 thoughts a day. 90% of those thoughts are negative thoughts. So start becoming aware of these negative thoughts in your brain. Okay? Awesome. One big aspect of success is what you think about yourself is important. I'm not saying be selfish or, be this person who is arrogant and egoistic, and all that is negative aspects of self-known or self-worth. Okay. It's about accepting, okay, this is important to me. If you don't take care of yourself, you will not be able to take care of the people around you. You will not be able to do your work. Your organizations will not succeed if you don't take care of yourself. Okay. But for you to take care of yourself, you need to know what it is that you like, what it is that you don't like. Okay, that's the kind of awareness we need to start developing. Is everyone okay with it? Yeah. And one more question that I want all of you to ask yourself is this: what do you do? If somebody asks you, what do you do? What is the answer you give? I can guarantee most of us introduce ourselves to the question, what do you do, to be a job title or a company name, okay, or an industry or the business we do work for. Yes, absolutely. Designation. Exactly. Right? Now, why? Because we spend more than 1/3 of our life. We tie our identity to our work. I used to do that. Now, when I used to work earlier, I would proudly tell myself, oh, I am a PMO analyst. Somebody asked me, what do you do? Oh, I am a PMO analyst. But when I quit my job, then people asked me, what do you do? I started having existential crisis because I didn't know what I do. I don't work anymore, right? We tie ourselves to our work so heavily, and yet we think so little about work. Are we being aware of this kind of work is fulfilling me? This kind of work is not fulfilling me. We have this gyan that says, okay, follow your passion, love what you do. I agree with all of that, but let me tell you something. I followed my passion and started a business. I love speaking. I love training. I started a speaking business, a training business. I started coaching people. Okay, but the reality hit when money did not come in as frequently as a salary did. You understand? So passion is only a part of what you do. You can always find passion in what you do also. That's why I said change the way we look at our work. Okay. Now, I wanted to give you an example of somebody who said, what do you do was brilliant. Okay. Now, one of the gatherings here in Dubai, I met this person. I asked him, what do you do? And he said, I light up lives. I was like, what? Light up lives? And he said, yeah. And that wasn't a job title. It wasn't a company. It wasn't an industry. I'm like, what do you mean by light up lives? What do you think he did? Anybody? What did he do? He used to light up lives. Any thoughts? He's an electrician. Hmm. Initially, even I felt, yeah. He's a Guruji. Yeah. Yeah, he will help. Yeah. Absolutely. You know what he used to do? He used to process bills at the electricity company. So he added so much meaning to what he did that he was so driven by it. It didn't matter that he was just an accountant or just somebody in the company. He did not have big impact, but in his world, he made a difference. Can you imagine how powerful it is, that kind of thinking? Yeah. So if somebody asks you now, what do you do? Can you think of some other answer except, okay, I'm a this, I'm a that. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. Okay. So if somebody asks me, what do I do? Well, I gave Gopi sir a big introduction of mine, right? He read that in the beginning. Yeah, it is all work related mostly. True? Yeah, but we need to have more meaning to it. Right? I'm still learning. So what I do is I help people build fulfilling careers and lives. Right? So the I help statement adds more meaning to your work. Forget passion, forget all this, just add more meaning to what you do. You will be more driven to do it. Enhancing the life of self and others. Absolutely. Making others successful. Brilliant. Okay. All right. Are you with me, everybody? It's been over an hour of me talking, so I just wanted to take a pause here. Awesome. All right. So ready for step 2? We're talking about performance optimization. Step 1, awareness. What is step 2? Change. Now, what do we change? We change our old mindsets, we change our beliefs, we change the way we approach work and life. Okay. Now, Einstein I don't know if Einstein said this technically, but okay. Anyways, Google tells me that Einstein said this, that you cannot keep doing the same things over and over again and expect different results. Yes. Now, that is the definition of insanity. Right? Now, for example, I am a Toastmaster and we give speeches, okay, in Toastmasters meetings. We deliver 5 to 6. We have contests, a lot of it, right? Now, in my initial days, I wrote a speech and I practiced it. And I practiced it again. And I practiced it again and again and again and again. I was perfect. I knew that speech inside out. And I would go deliver it. The first time I delivered it, I lost. I was like, but that speech was so good. But I was so good. Why did I lose? Right? 1,000 aspects affect it. But primarily the thing is, I was doing something wrong. And the same wrong thing got repeated, and it finally led to the same wrong outcome. Isn't it? Now, how can we then improve? How can we then optimize our performance if we keep practicing the same old things? That is why we need to change. We need to change the way we think. Yes, we need to change the mindset. Okay. Now, how we do this? I love the concept of Lean Six Sigma. I recently got certified as a black belt in it, and it is an amazing concept because of the primary baseline is thinking lean, which means reduce wastage. If you can't change the world, at least reduce where your time is getting wasted. Reduce the wasteful efforts that you're doing. Reduce money drains. Reduce the negative thoughts. Reduce your limiting beliefs. These are wasters. Just focus on removing waste from your life. Okay? How you can do this? Monitor, first of all, with the awareness exercises that you keep doing, with your journaling, with your brain dumps and to-do lists. Look at what is a wasteful activity. All right? Throughout the day, I can guarantee you, you have more than at least 15-20 minutes a day which are just getting wasted, where you're not actually doing something intentionally, or nothing is actually moving. It's just going. Okay, these are usually times like driving, waiting for somebody else, right? You're standing in a queue. So these are wasted times. Yes, that means you can't say, oh, I don't want to waste my time, I won't stand in a queue. You will end up standing in the queue, right? But how can you look at not wasting this time but make it more productive? Right? For example, we have long driving hours, right? Most of us have that. I don't know now, with COVID, a lot of people have work from home options and more flexibility, but still, if you're in India, if you're in Chennai or Bangalore, you know the traffic, right? Driving in a traffic is a waste. How can you optimize that better? Any ideas? You can't avoid it. The best thing to do is avoid time wasters. Like say, okay, this is a time waste, I'm not going to do it. Listening to a book, brilliant, you read my mind. That's my favorite thing to do. Okay, so I'm actually working full time now again, and I love audiobooks and music. So every day that is running in the background. So I'm not really wasting my time. So three things I do when I'm driving. Okay, of course, driving being priority. So focus there is priority. So listening to audiobooks, listening to music, or calling my mom or anybody for that matter. Okay, just call to people, talk to them while you're driving. I remember Idea had this campaign long back, walk and talk. When I do drive and talk. Okay, make sense? All right, so that's how you change. It's unsafe if you're talking. I know. I don't hold the phone here. It's on Bluetooth. All right, so music or audiobooks, but of course, focus here. All right, I'm not propagating anything that puts people in danger. Please don't hold your phones and talk and, get distracted. It's on Bluetooth. It's away, out of sight. All right, so what we do when we are changing, how do we change? We monitor what is happening, okay, and gather feedback. Right, monitor as in measure stuff. Now, what do you monitor? Good question. We will monitor especially three aspects: people, process, or product. People as in yourself or other people around you. Process as in how is something getting done. And product is what is the end result or the end physical product or digital product or whatever it is that you're working towards. Okay, measure in terms of these three. Okay, then you gather feedback. Is it working? Is it not working? Okay, reflect on the feedback and say, okay, so this aspect worked. Very good. I'm going to continue doing this. Okay, this is something that is not working. So I'm going to stop doing this. Oh, I have a new idea. So I'm going to start doing this. Got it? So it's simple framework called start, stop, continue. Okay, now for example, if there is a particular person in your company, you're trying to evaluate this person's performance, simply look at what is this person doing very well, and they need to continue doing it. What is this person not doing yet, but will benefit by doing? If they need to start doing it. And what behavior or what aspect of their performance was not helping at all, so they need to stop doing it. Make sense? It's a very simple framework. Start, stop, continue. You can apply this to anything. For example, if even let's personalize this. So if you want to build a habit of reading books, for example, okay? Now you start reading a book one day, second day you'll read it, third day you'll read it, fourth day you'll read it, fifth day, sixth day, seventh day, something will happen and slowly that habit dies. Yes? Yeah, so let's not do that. So, but every day read a book or read at least a page of the book and reflect at the end of the day, okay, what worked for me? How did I manage to read today? What did not work for me? What made it difficult for me to read? And what should I start doing? So maybe, for example, okay, I want to read a book in the night before I sleep, but what did not work is the book in the other room, right? So I got lazy to go and get that book, right? So what could you do differently? Any ideas? What can you start, stop, and continue if you're just trying to build a habit of reading? Keep it near the pillow, absolutely. Or read it in the room where the book is. But again, but that has another step to it. You have to go to the room where the book is. And that is resistance, by the way. You will become so lazy, or you'll become so, your mind is so tuned to not going to the other room to read a book. It becomes a chore. Right? Set a reminder, keep the book in the right place. Exactly. So all of these things work for you. Correct? So that's what reflection does. It gives you ideas of, okay, this is working, this is not working, and you can actually tweak your performance. Got it? That is what we change in the way we approach work. The idea of monitor, get feedback, and reflect. With me, everybody? Tell someone to help you. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I told my husband, can you please tell me to read a book every day? He did for 2 days. Third day, he also forgot. So didn't work. So by the way, I do all this, right? So I used to not read books at all. I think I read one book in 6 years. That was how much I used to read. But I started applying these principles to my real life. Today, I've had days of reading streaks over 400 days. I'm currently at 168 weeks reading streak. That means I read at least 3 days a week. That's huge, right? For somebody who used to never read a book. Yeah. So I've actually read over 100 books in the last 3 years. It's very simple. All you need to do is adopt a performance optimization mindset. Are you with me? Brilliant. Okay. So step 1, awareness. Step 2, change. Change what? The way you approach things by monitoring, getting feedback, and reflecting. All right. And third thing is excel at the game. Now I love this one. This is my favorite. Okay, ask me why. Why is this a favorite? One must cultivate the reading habits. Absolutely, please do. If you don't, you're missing out on so much. One of the end results, yeah. Okay, what is the game? Now, we're all assumed players in a game, okay? But what is the game we're all playing? Most of us are into juggling, right? We have family, work, personal life, this, that. We keep juggling. Do you know juggling? I don't. Are you experts at juggling? No. Then why are we juggling? What is going to happen if you juggle everything? Juggling personal life, I have to exercise, I have to eat healthy, I have to do this, I have to do that, oh, this work, that work, everything is important. Keep juggling. What? Confusion, yes. Nobody else will understand what you have. Lower focus, unhappiness, boredom. Yeah. The biggest thing that will happen is you'll drop the balls. Right? You'll stop juggling. Nothing will happen. That will be an interesting scenario. Right? The ball will drop. Now imagine if this was glass balls. Can you juggle forever? I don't think so. You're going to drop and the glass is going to crack and you won't even be able to pick it up. For example, if you drop the ball on your health, you'll start falling sick more often. You'll start deteriorating, your muscles grow weak, your bones grow weak. Can you bring it up? Maybe you can, but it is more effort. Yes? So if we take care of our health from the beginning, will we even be in that place? No. But we can't. Why? Because we're juggling so many things. right? If some relationship with somebody breaks, can you rebuild the relationship? Maybe, but it'll take more effort. It will take more time, right? The game we are all in is not a game of juggling. It is a game of balancing. Okay, now again, when we talk about, it's fun. Yes, you can juggle for a while. Absolutely. It's a lot of fun. I love challenges. I love juggling, right? But you can't keep doing it forever. That's the point. You will fall at one point. Okay, now the game we are in is in the game of a balance. You know, weighing scale. I'm not talking about work-life balance, by the way. There is no such thing as work-life balance. You can't say, I will work 8 hours here, I will work 8 hours here, and I have a balanced life. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. Okay, the balance is between what is called detractors and attractors. Okay, the balance is in between being on and being off. Let me explain. Now, can you be your 100% energy throughout the day? Anybody? Don't fail in your duties in both the fronts. Absolutely. Don't fail in anything. The entire idea is this. In trying to not fail, don't fail yourself. Okay? Yes, you cannot, right? You cannot be on all the time. So that is why you need to also be off. Now people are realizing the value of sleep, the value of yoga, meditation, mindfulness, all of this. Why? Because this is your off time. This is when you're not performing, you're not being productive. But let me tell you something, this is more productive than actually doing your work. Right? If you don't take these breaks, if you don't take these downtimes of yours seriously, you cannot be fully present and active during your on times. Are you with me? Yeah. Okay. I just want to read this comment. It looks interesting. If you tune up your mind towards spiritualism, meditation, yoga, good company of people, prayers, visiting the places of worship, pleasantry, meeting with friends, getting together. Yes, absolutely. All of these are what are called active downtimes. What is a passive downtime? Is you sit on your, you come, crash on your couch, take your phone. How many of you do this every day? You have a phone? The most addictive device that we all hold in our hands. We are scrolling on news, on social media, on WhatsApp, whatever it is. We are scrolling, our families are scrolling, our kids are scrolling, the entire world is scrolling. Correct? Nobody is looking straight, everyone's looking down. This is not downtime. Or at the end of a long day, you go to work, you're exhausted, you're tired, you come back home, you crash on your couch, you switch on the TV, and you sit and watch TV. You're like, I need my TV time. I'm relaxing. This is passive downtime, exactly. These are not helping us recover. Okay, why? Neuroscience, the way the brain functions. Now, the phones or the TVs or any screen for that matter give out a lot of light and sound, and they're shaking and they're moving at a frequency that our eyes cannot see, but our brains can process. Okay, so these are all running at different, so there are different brain wavelengths that we function at, right? Alpha, beta, gamma. Delta is when we're sleeping in deep minute. Yeah, 1 minute break for every hour. Yes, more than that, in fact. Okay, so there is a very famous Pomodoro technique, which is called work for 25 minutes and give yourself a 5-minute break. In that 5-minute break, don't look at another screen. It's not helping. Okay, so when you actually think you're sitting on the couch or you're sitting on Instagram and scrolling, your brain is functioning more than it normally is. We just don't see it. Okay, so our body doesn't get the rest that it needs. That is why these alternative downtimes, which is called active downtime, reading a book, listening to music, yoga, meditation, anything that you can do except staring at a screen is very important. That is the balance we need to bring in our lives. You work hard, you work whatever, but give it that equal break, that equal recovery. Anybody here into resistance training? You go to the gym or you work out? Anybody here? So let me explain to you what happens when I do it. Okay, so what happens is they'll say, okay, do a set of exercise, do 12 sometimes, okay. So you do 12 rounds, okay. So say for example, squats. You do 12 squats, okay, and you do it 3 times. Great, you can do it. All right, like that, they'll give you a set of 6-7 exercises, do all of them. I used to do it. I was like, oh, this is so much fun. All right. After the session, you're like, I can't move. Right? The next day, you're back. Okay, let's do it again. And you're gone. I would do this again and again. I will do it for, I think my longest limit was 7 days. The 8th day, I will sprain my back or my neck or some muscle, something will happen, and I cannot move after that. Why? My instructor told me one thing: your recovery is very slow. That means I'm not giving myself, my body, the break it needs for me to come back and do that kind of hard work again. Do yoga every day for her. I started doing yoga now. Yeah. For me, resistance training did not work, so yoga it is for me. All right. So we need to think what is working for us, what is not working for us, and actually apply things. If we don't give ourselves the break, we cannot be on. We cannot turn up and do our performance. That is the game that we are in. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Okay, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're a student, you work in a company, you're a housewife, you're a retired person, whatever it is, the game is not about juggling balls. It's about balancing your on times with your off times. And that's what we need to get really good at doing. All right. Okay, so this one read. I keep switching to TV news channels, talking to family members, move out of the backyard for cleaning or watering plants, making phone calls, and thus we're giving breaks. Cool. Okay, attractors and detractors. Yes. Any questions or anything so far? So performance optimization is a mindset. Is a mindset about being aware of what is affecting you, why it is affecting you, how it is affecting you, and changing the way you approach things by actually monitoring, getting feedback, and reflecting, and excelling at the game of attracting and detracting. Okay. Now, how do we apply this to our lives? Now, we know the concept, great. But we are very nice. Our brains have something called a forgetting curve. You will listen to everything. You will understand everything. You're nodding, you're smiling, you're engaging. Very good. I love that. But after 2 days, if I ask you what we discussed, I'm sure 80% of us will not be able to remember anything. Right? That is why we need to put things into action. Okay. Now, how do we apply this? Now, we apply this by telling ourselves our priorities. Now, I told you it's a game of a balance. It's not about the balls, right? So you pick up a ball, focus on it, take it for a ride, okay, play with it, put it back, pick up another one. So when you are doing something, do it with full attention. Okay. Now, one thing that we need to understand is no matter what I am telling you here, when you are building an action plan, it needs to be personalized to you. Right? I have started this session with what does success mean to you? And that is the most important thing I want you to take away from here. Okay. Now, why I'm saying we need to personalize any idea that comes. Let me give you an example to make this work. Okay. Now, have you heard about the 5 a.m. rule or the 5 a.m. book? Yes. So what is this? Every productivity person, every high performance person will tell you early hours is great. Spirituality will also tell you 3:30 to 4:30 is golden hour. Right? Get up at that time, your mind will work brilliantly, your life is set. If you're working a 9 to 9 job, I'm saying 9 to 9 because I know nobody leaves office at 5. Okay, a 9 to 9 job, and you want to get up at 5 o'clock, great, people do it. I'm not saying they can't. Okay, now, but for me, I was trying to do this when my son was born, right? When I was being the supermom phase, I actually was like, I'll get up at 5 o'clock. Great. 21 days I will do it. It will become a habit for lifetime. Brilliant. 21 days finished. 30 days finished. 46th day, I was dead, literally. Why? Because I had a baby at home who wouldn't sleep throughout the night. He was less than a year old. He would wake up every 2-3 hours, and I would wake up every 2-3 hours. My sleep was gone to dogs. So do you think it was a wise decision for me to actually get up at 5 o'clock every day? No, that was the most stupid thing I have ever done in my life. Because people said golden hour, because you are the most active at that time of the day. I'm like, I need my golden hour. I actually got up at 4 o'clock on days because I wanted to meditate at 4 o'clock. But it will not work in every situation. That was my biggest learning. Are you with me? So all this advice that people can give you, people can tell you 100 things, 1,000 things. Today, social media is flooded by experts. People who say, this is the magic pill, this is what will work for you, blah, blah. Have you seen these kind of messages? Yeah, absolutely. Everywhere you open Instagram, you open Facebook, you open YouTube, all you see are people telling you what you should be doing in your life. But everything will not work for you. You need to know what works for you. You need to personalize your learnings, and that is why you need to have your own action plan. So I want you to take 2 minutes now and just reflect on our last over an hour. We have been talking almost 1.5 hours now. I just want you to reflect on what is going on, what can you apply from what you have learned. All right, take a pen and a paper, write it down. If you want to share, please share it in the chat also. I would love to see what plans you're coming up with. What can you implement from today's session? And how are you going to implement it? YouTubers become our able guides, absolutely. Make your timings flexible, yes. That's something that will work. For some people, if you're in fixed jobs, sad to say, even after COVID, people are not realizing the power of flexible working. Let's just put it there. Because I still work for companies, I've seen people here who are, you still need to be in office this many hours a day. All right, I love some of the answers that are coming in, dumping your brain dumps, learning and unlearning. Chat with friends for a half an hour every day at tea shop. Oh, that is so powerful, If you don't do it, you need to. Work on attractors and detractors. Brilliant. Create awareness for themselves, help them monitor, help them excel at their game. Power naps. Oh, I love power naps. If you can do it, please do it. Live moment to moment. I want to apply it to my work. Teach this process to my colleagues. Brilliant, Lakshmi. We need to identify our own focus time, being consistent in our actions to achieve goals. Reduce screen time. Awesome. Amazing takeaways from everyone. Okay, so just to summarize what all we did, if you don't understand the entire thing, the basic principles of performance optimization are get out of your head, take small steps, personalize it, think lean, and stay curious. Stay curious about what is working, what is not working. All right, that's all it is. And finally, just think and act different than what you do today to have success and sustainable success. The key takeaway is personalized. Absolutely. Awesome. So I have more of this in my book, Ace at Work. You can see this. Yeah, that's my book. It's available on Amazon. If anybody wants to explore more about this idea of awareness, change, and excel, it's in the book. And now that's me. Personalize, personalize, personalize. And any questions? Over to you. Gopi sir.
Yeah. Excellent session. A lot of takeaways from the session today. And we'll keep the floor open for question and answers now. Participants, you may please unmute and ask your questions, please.
You have to raise your hands probably if you can't unmute yourself.
And they can unmute and ask questions, no issues.
Yeah. Can you show the book again? Oh, here.
Hi, good morning, Pragnya. So it was really interesting one. Yeah. So first of all, I heard that you are being a Toastmaster. So how Toastmasters helped in making this effect for the more communicating skill, or just developing the habit of reading books and listening others? So how did it motivate so that I can take a message of what?
Sure. Okay, so Toastmasters is a big part of my life. Okay, it is not about what you say, it's about how you say it is my biggest learning. But Toastmasters is a platform platform. It's a networking platform, to be honest. And I joined it with the primary intention of making friends. All right. So making friends because I was in Dubai. And I love speaking. Okay, so most people join Toastmasters because they are scared of speaking, because they want to overcome a fear of public speaking, or they don't know how to give good presentations, or they need to improve on that skill. That's why people join. That's one aspect to Toastmasters, and the second aspect is the network that comes along with it. Right, today, if I need anything, if I need to sneeze or breathe or go to a doctor or anything, also this Toastmasters community is where the help is coming from. Right, it's a huge community. Everybody is very professional. And number three is the leadership opportunities that it provides. All right, so I have been more in the leadership side, and I have taken it very seriously. So I take up a lot of leadership roles, and I get to do a lot of things that, in a job, for example, does everybody get a chance to be a CEO of a company? Or be the CFO, manage finances, manage I don't know, the marketing campaigns and stuff? You may not get a chance, right? But in Toastmasters, you get that in every club. So you can be the president of the club. You can be the area director, division director, all of that. And this is a non-profit organization, right? So you can get a lot of it, a lot out of Toastmasters if you actually, get into it. So how did it help me? It has helped me found myself. Really. I had the confidence that I can run my own business.
Yeah, thank you.
Because of Toastmasters.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Understood. Really. I mean, definitely matters how you you perceive the things and make
Absolutely.
things better. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for question.
Saravanan, you had a question, Saravanan?
No, that's all, sir. Thank you, Gopi, sir.
Yes.
So, when we don't get questions, there's only two things. One is either everyone understood everything or they understood nothing. Yes, Jayesh?
Yes, I wanted to ask, I have a team of 20 people in my organization. And so the steps that you have indicated, I can convert them into a sort of a page and tell my team to answer these questions, or can I do that kind of thing?
There's no end to what you can do. Anything that I'm sharing here is not proprietary of me, because this is, of course, general knowledge. If you even look anybody in the space of productivity,
right, but what I wanted to understand, would this way work?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What I wanted to understand was, would this way work to identify and help them and to avoid their burnout?
Of course, definitely. See, the first thing to understanding burnout, that's why we started this entire session, is to understand that somebody is burnt out, right? And how do you do it? They cannot see it themselves because they're inside the jar. So you probably can open up the jar for them and say, hey, this opportunity exists. You can actually do things differently, right? It's about educating people about this mindset for sure. Yes. But at the end of the day, you can read all the books in the world, you can attend all the seminars, you can attend all the webinars, but if you don't apply it, nothing works. Right? So you can create one-pagers, you can create, presentations, give them books, whatever, but if they don't read it and implement it, it's like you can take the horse till the water, you can't make it drink.
Yeah. Right, yes. Thank you. Wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Lakshmi Narayan. Sir, Kadaswamy, sir.
Hi, Gopi. Hi, Gopi.
Please go on, Lakshmi.
No, it was a wonderful session, Pragnya. Very, very interesting. A lot of takeaways. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I think Vishal
Very
has
good
a
morning,
question.
Pragnya.
Morning, Kadaswamy.
Yeah, nice. It was a wonderful session. Very thought-provoking and good takeaways. I could understand. One is adapt to change, and learning is a continuous process, and many things you have brought in, and very, very interesting session. One thing I would like to tell you is, in today's scenario, you can't totally bypass or avoid the social media platforms. Like I'm talking about X, the former Twitter, or the other social media platforms like Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp, or because you will be totally out of the world in case you are disconnected. So that is also is very, very essential in today's scenario. And number two is you have to have a balance. You have to have a combo of your social media networking plus your physical the other social involvement in many things like meeting friends or writing books or reading books or going through your the newspapers or watching TV news. So that should be a combination of all, and also like meditation, yoga, getting into spiritual discourses and things like that. So I have attended during the COVID 2 years, the off. I mean, the whole world was completely put off, and we went to the virtual thing. So that time I could learn Gita. I developed a Sanskrit. I went into the level 4 Gita up to level 4. So a lot of good things I could do it during the COVID period. So my only suggestion is that, I mean, I hope that you would also agree with me that totally avoiding or bypassing the social media platforms today would lead us to complete disconnection from the rest of the world.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. Now, the point is not avoid social media and become a monk. Okay, that will not happen. Yes, you will be left behind in a lot of conversations, in a lot of great things. Now, there are pluses and minuses of every social media platform or anything for that matter, right? Now, the idea, I will bring it back to the awareness point. What is the role social media plays in your life? Okay. Now, for entrepreneurs, for digital marketers, social media is their life because they are finding their clients, they are selling, they're running businesses on social media.
That's right.
Right?
Perfect.
And that's absolutely fine. So, but they don't go into social media with mindless scrolling.
That's
like you're just
that's
scrolling,
right.
just doing stuff, right? That is what is not okay. Now, even for us, even if you are mindless scrolling, sometimes it's, it just gives us that break. But the idea is, are we comparing ourselves with others? Now, the huge thing that has happened, now in this generation, teenagers have found to be the highest people susceptible to mental illnesses. Why?
Yep, absolutely.
Because of social media. Why? Because they're looking at other pictures, other people's pictures. Oh, they are so thin, they are so skinny. I am not okay. Right? When you start comparing yourself with these aspects on social media, somebody else has got 1,000 likes. I got only 2 likes. Right? That is where the problem is. So you totally mindlessly use social media without comparing yourself, without getting into, oh my God, okay, these people are traveling the world. That's why I need to travel. Travel industry is what has taken off on social media. Right now, everybody wants to go to Santorini. Everybody wants to go to, these exotic places. Why? Because Instagram makes it look so cool.
Exactly.
Right? So those are the things that we need to be mindful of. That's where awareness plays a very important role.
Very important role. Actually, one should not be addicted to one particular platform or a social media platform. Only thing, in case I don't go through my emails, for example, then I miss a lot of important things. Like I get a lot of mails from US and other countries. I have to attend some training programs. A lot of training programs I miss sometimes. In case I don't watch, I don't go through my emails. And secondly, in case I don't even see my WhatsApp chats. For example, I'm in several groups. So I also, act as an administrator in some of the WhatsApp groups. So there are social groups, there are spiritual groups, there are political groups, there are friendship groups. So in case I don't do it, sometimes we also wish on birthdays and things like that, and I miss it. So we can't miss the important events. And number two is getting once you don't wish your friend on his birthday, the whole community started wishing him, and you don't wish him, so you feel that you have done something wrong. So this sort of thing. So what I mean to say is you have to keep yourself in touch with all these platforms. Like I am in Twitter, I follow many people follow me. So many things are there, like LinkedIn is very, very important because I have a lot of business networking and all that. So today you have to have a balance. That's what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. You need to have a balance. You need to understand what role it is. You control your social media time. You control how you engage with social media, not the other way around.
Very true. Very
right?
true. And very
So I
interesting
would
session.
recommend
A
all of
lot
you,
of
if you
things
have
I learned from
Netflix,
you. I'd
yeah,
like to buy your book, through
please.
Amazon.
Actually, it's
And
running on sale right now. I think you'll get the book at a discounted price, and even
okay.
the ebook is for free right now. So yeah,
Okay, it's very
you
good.
can
A
please
really very interesting topic you've chosen, and you've given a lot of
Thank you.
insights. And I really appreciate. I thank Mr. Gopi and his team for organizing such a wonderful session. And we will catch up again.
Absolutely.
In case we can get into other, any program like this.
Definitely,
We'd like to invite you. So
please
thanks
connect
a
with
lot.
me on LinkedIn. You can
Yeah.
find me Pragnya-Venigalla. I can ask
Okay.
Gopi to share my
Okay,
LinkedIn
I
profile.
put myself as Kasturi Rajan Kandaswamy, so I will also catch up with you through LinkedIn.
Yes.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot, and wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much. Wish you
Pleasure
the same
talking
as well.
to you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure is all
Thank you.
mine.
Bye bye. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Jayesh, your question, where do we get the ebook? It is on Kindle, on Amazon. So you can just buy it on Amazon.in as well. Yeah. Vishal has his hand raised.
Vishal, yeah, Vishal.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, Vishal.
Actually, it was a really insightful session. I am one who texted a FOMO in chat. We actually observed. So yeah, the situation like it is all about my situation. Like I recently joined one of the organization, and the FOMO is kind of like the team is working and they know about all the things about the project is running on, and catching up the things is the one major problem for me, and uh, the focus and the way I should I'm confused how to deal with such kind of situation. From your session, other aspects are important to excel at work, like you are about yourself, what you like, break and all. But in a brief, I want
Vishal, your voice is breaking.
that about the situation. That is my question. Like situation about like this, like FOMO situation. How one should it deal, like avoiding the unnecessary thoughts and all. So
Okay.
that is my.
Sure. So Vishal, I had some trouble hearing you. I think your voice was breaking in between, but from what I get is the basically you're having FOMO in terms of everybody seems to know a lot of things and you don't know. So there is, but what is FOMO exactly? It's fear of missing out. That means you feel insufficient. You feel I don't know enough, or it's coming from a place of negativity. Now, this is primarily a fear-based response. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit of fear since we are on this topic. Now, fear is not a bad thing. Okay. Now, if you're scared of something, fear is basically our brain's mechanism of keeping us alive, right? There is a part of our brain called amygdala, okay, which is primarily responsible for these fear situations. Now, when we were all cavemen, right, long time ago, we used to live, in the forest. We had nothing. We would be scared. We would constantly be aware of our surroundings, that there is a tiger behind the bush, something is happening. All right. So we had to be very vigilant. We had to be very careful. So we would be, scared or fearful of maybe a tiger attacking us. So we had to watch out for ourselves. Right. So that's how our brain is. So even now, there is no tiger, there is nothing, right? We are all in a different world. It's not even a forest anymore, but the brain still works like that. The moment we see something, we perceive it as a threat. So we have three responses to it: fight, flight, or freeze. What does this mean? When you see a threat coming to you, you either fight the threat or you freeze. Like, okay, you have a brain freeze. You can't do anything. You can't move. Okay. Or you fly, or you just run away from that situation. That's our brain's function. Okay. So having fear is not a wrong thing, first of all, in any situation. Okay. Second, understand, again, I'll come back to the same framework again and again. Awareness, change, excel. Awareness, change, excel. Come back to the awareness aspect on what is causing this fear. Okay, where is this coming from? It is a fear of what? What will happen? Sorry, Vishal, couldn't hear you.
Taking a paper and write it down. Like
Exactly. Write it down. Go back to your journal. I think for dealing with negative thoughts and fears, the perfect thing is journaling. Okay, when you have too many thoughts, just question, okay, where is this coming from? What value of mine is getting questioned? What is happening that I'm feeling like this? Okay, start questioning these thoughts. The first thing is to become aware that you have these thoughts. Okay, give yourself space. Just sit and think about, okay, what all are these thoughts that are coming? Okay, why did this thought come? Just think about it. Where is this coming from? Okay, just journal about this. You'll actually get a lot of experience. The third thing is also understand that is this thought coming from a place of negative energy or positive energy? Now, why I said fear is a good thing. Fear can be a good direction. For example, if I'm coming to give a talk and I'm actually scared, like I may look confident, but inside I'm actually scared. Why am I scared? Because I want this to go well, right? I want to be well prepared. I want everything to be set up. I want my slides to be neat and clean. Okay, so that fear drives me to be prepared for a session. Okay, or to do my bit of studying and preparation and being present on time, just come early, make sure my laptop is charged. All of those things come into place because of fear. Got it? So it's about how we direct this thought. It is there, very good. It is scared, that means it is telling us something. It is indicating something that maybe I feel underprepared. That's why I'm feeling scared. Or maybe I am more invested in it. That's why I'm feeling scared. Okay. So we need to understand this, the good and bad aspects of it. Right. So FOMO is there. It's there. Accept it. It's not a wrong thing. It's nothing that you need to judge yourself for. It's just, yes, it's there. Why is it there? What can I do about it? Okay, if it is telling you, I don't know enough about the subject, great. Now you have an opportunity to go learn more about it. Okay. Did that answer your question, Vishal?
Yeah, definitely, ma'am. And all your session, like over the period of session, like yeah, I have confidence like I should take action. Small actions would definitely help.
Absolutely, small actions.
That
You
kind
know,
of,
sorry, your voice is breaking again.
sorry, I'm having network issue. That kind of steps, like yeah, I believe I should take one step at a time. So
Absolutely.
very much thankful for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. So this fear is such a huge thing. It will stop you from taking any action ever. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's why we say start small. Take the smallest step possible. For example, if you want to go to the gym and exercise, there will be so much fear. There will be so much resistance. There will be so much laziness, procrastination. Everything will start coming into place. Right?
Mhm. Right,
But
right.
just wear your gym shoes. Don't do anything. Just wear your gym shoes. Just get started. The first 2 minutes is the hardest. It
Yes.
becomes super easy later. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next question. Anyone else has a question? Rajendra?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please go on.
Ma'am, this was a really excellent session. My key takeaway is, yes, we read a lot of books, we attend a lot of webinars and other things, but the structure, right, to maintain the consistency is always an issue.
Absolutely.
So
Consistency is also a resistance. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the real struggle, I think. How to keep a structure and keep it consistent.
Absolutely. So that's another talk, another talk in itself. So I will not go too much into it, but the idea is to start small and keep reflecting.
Yeah.
Keep having the cycle that we spoke about. Keep doing that again.
Yeah.
What worked, what did not work? How can I make it better? Yeah.
Yeah. Journaling is very important, right?
Yeah. It's a very powerful tool. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Dr. Shamla, Bijoy.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's an excellent session. She spoke very well, Pragya. I just wanted to know about the issues of anxiety. Like you were saying that very often one finds oneself in a situation where one is not in tune with, what is happening around you, whether at work or at any other situation. And that also causes anxiety, I feel. So many of us do go through this often. So how does one address this, and how can one try to get out of it?
Yep, absolutely. So again, I'll come back to this. Anxiety comes from these various reasons that we spoke about, right? It can come from anything from values not being aligned to too much work to do. We just feel overwhelmed. Anxiety is again a brain response that is basically coming from fight, flight, or freeze kind of a thinking. Okay, journaling is very, 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 very powerful for anxiety. Okay, and taking more frequent breaks. The intentional downtime, what we spoke about, the active downtime, that is something that helps tremendously. All right, so I had pangs of anxiety where I won't be able to do anything, right? I have 100 things to do, but I'm just sitting and staring at it because I'm feeling so anxious. My heart is beating faster, I'm sweating, my hands are trembling, right? These are physical symptoms of anxiety. Mental symptoms are just like, okay, I'm not able to think, I'm not able to make a decision, right? These are signs that you're actually having anxiety at some level, right? Take a break, stop doing what you're doing. Okay, just breathe. If possible, take a walk in nature, or just don't do anything. Just try to intentionally be bored for a while and journal your thoughts. Whatever is coming, you have 100 things to do which is causing your anxiety. Good, write down 100 things to do. Okay, our brains are meant to create ideas, not to store them. So the moment we get things out of our brain and put it on paper, our brain starts thinking more clearly. All right, and it's also about us connecting with ourselves and telling ourselves it's okay, nothing is going wrong. All right, it's about how we talk to ourselves. Shamana ma'am, did that answer your question or give you some thoughts?
Thank you. Yeah, yes, that's right. That's right. Thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah,
That's
Shubha, you have anything from your side?
Pragnya, it was a really nice session, Pragnya. One thing that I always use the word juggle. So I think I'm going to stop using that. And I'm going to say I'm balancing things much better. Because I do a lot of voluntary work. Okay. And I work with kids mostly. And as of now, my days are like 19 hours I work in a day. And there are times when I get really overwhelmed, and I wouldn't use the word burnout because I really enjoy doing what I'm doing. So I'll stop using the word juggle. That is what I learned today. So really excellent session. Very, very nice. And this brain dump, I will really support that, because at the end of every day, I do a brain dump that improves the quality of my sleep also. So I just sleep for 4 or 5 hours in a day, and it really improves the quality of my sleep, because whatever it is there in my head, I just dump it in paper. And when I wake up in the morning and I plan my day, I get more clear answers, because I've just released everything, whatever happened yesterday, onto the paper. So that is probably one suggestion that I would add to your discussion. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. So that's definitely one thing. So 2 ways you can journal is one at the end of the night, end of the day. So you just get everything out of your head so you can sleep peacefully. And second, as soon as you wake up, you journal so you can plan the rest of the day properly. It's 2 aspects to brain dumps. You can actually make more effective use of it. So that's brilliant. I love what you're doing and it sounds amazing. I'm sure I understand the feeling of I love what I do. I'm not burning out. But burnout is not something that it's not because you don't like what you're doing. It's because of the way you're doing it. Yeah. So if you are 19 hours on all the time, one day you will not have energy for 19 hours a day. That's where we don't want to get to. Because when we love doing something, we want to do more of it. We want to continue doing it a longer time. So we need to keep ourselves optimized so we can stay for longer. No, it's like a machine. You need to oil the machine, otherwise it will break down someday, even if the machine loves what it's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, thank
I
you so
love
much.
what you're taking away from this session. Thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Srinivas Rao, Rajendra Sapre.
Hello.
Yeah, Rajendra, please go on.
Yeah, just a moment. I think a great session. I don't have much of answers. I mean, sorry, I don't have any questions as such, but I loved the way the session was conducted. And I had also been a Toastmaster for a while, and I could see that the results of actually getting into Toastmasters actually create a flawless kind of a delivery. That's what I experienced today. Thanks.
Thank you so much for sharing, Rajendra, and always a pleasure to connect with Toastmasters across the world.
Yeah.